My people, this has got to be the most important video I put out all year. I'm going to show you how I plant my fruit trees to maximize the health and the yield of the fruits. We're going to go step by step. We're going to cover every single thing you could possibly want to cover when planting your fruit tree to make sure that you plant them in a way that you get maximum fruits and you get fruits quick. I literally harvest hundreds of fruit of every year from my garden, and I'm going to show you how. So let's get started. I got these two beautiful sugar apple trees. One I bought from the red one I bought from Johnny. I got a green one from my friend Diane, and I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite fruit. I'm going to show you how I plant these. So let's go ahead and get started right now. First, let's talk about sun requirements. These are fruit trees, and most fruit trees require full sun. There are some fruit trees that prefer a little dappled shade, like the mame. I know my sweets, my naseberries prefer. They can have a little bit of shady area. However, our sweet ups do require full sun, so we're gonna make sure get them in a location that gets at least, I would say, 8 hours of sun per day, right? Also, we think about the size. The sweets up are can grow to like medium size, so we want to get them to a location where they'll be able to grow to their full potential, and that there aren't a whole lot of big trees around it that's gonna shade them out, and that they'll be able to spread. Okay, so my trees are pretty much very densely planted. I plant my trees mainly along the borders, and if you notice how I have my trees, I'll have the ones that grow taller with some understory plants underneath. Like here I have my Bombay Julie mango tree, and right below it I have my comfrey. I have this Joseph coat which can be trimmed to be just a couple feet tall, and then I have all my lower ornamentals below it. Right beside it I have another papaya tree that goes straight up into the air, and that's right up against my curry mango tree, because even as the curry mango grows, guys, it's gonna basically be covering maybe the base of the papaya, but the papaya is gonna grow taller than the curry, so those don't interrupt each other. So that's a one way to think. So right here, as crowded as this looks, this is one potential location, because the Bombay Julie mango, I can prune it to kind of stay within that size, but you can see there's a whole lot of space between this and the next mango tree, which will grow large. So this is one location right behind that zebra plant. The sun rises in the east. That is the east. So the sun rises, but as soon as it goes over the fence by 8 o'clock in the morning, and then it's high sun, right? That spot is going to get a lot of sun. There is a papaya with the leaves there, but the leaves are not thick enough to really cover it up. There is the hibiscus behind it against the fence, but that hibiscus, there's no shade from there. So that's a potential location for one of the plants. Another potential location for one of the plants is here, right in front of my pineapple patch. I just cleared out some of the pineapple, so there is a spot here. We have the curry mango tree here. The next plant over is my naseberry. It's growing, but it's still a little bit small. However, I do have my jabuti kaba right here. That is going to grow into a bigger plant. So then this is not really a good location, because the jabuti kaba is going to grow into the sweet sop. So looking around, guys, as I said, my garden, even though it seems like it has a lot of space, everything is less than 4 years old, and everything is growing so much. I don't want to crowd my plants. Let's see. That spot is taken. So you can see I'm very strategic. Bananas grow straight up, and this will go out wide, but it won't interfere with the bananas. That's kind of how I have the bananas interspersed between the fruit trees. All right, let's check the front yard. On the way to the front yard, I want to show you my current sugar apple trees. This one is growing a little bit high. This is two sugar apples, and you can see two of them together don't really take up a lot of space. And I only have a couple sugar apple that are on the tree. Not quite ready to be harvested, but coming soon, coming soon. Over here in front of the moringa looks like a good location. The moringa grows tall and up, and the avocado is already large. I'm not gonna make it get much bigger than this. The red coat plum is right there, so this is a large space. However, I just planted this mountain soursop last year, so this is gonna get large. So this is not a good location. Guys, you see my garden is full. In under 3 years, guys, my garden is full. But I think I have the right location in the front yard. I think this is gonna be a good location right here. So I have one achacha there. I have my coconuts that are gonna get tall and high. This mango is gonna go. So I'm gonna plant one of the sweet stops right here in the middle. This is a nice big open space. I have one achacha there. I'm gonna put a second achacha here. I'm gonna keep my bougainvillea trimmed or cut it down completely. Here is a good location. I get full sun in the morning, full sun in the afternoon. So this is a good location. Because my soil is this, it also gets a sprinkler because you have to make sure wherever you're watering does get a sprinkler. So even though sweet sop does not like wet feet, it does need water. So this is a good location because the sprinkler does hit over here. All right, so I think we found our location. Let's go back and plant our first one. I'm putting it right up against the Joseph coat because again, the Joseph coat is just an ornamental that can be trimmed all the way down as needed. However, it will give it a little bit of protection as it's growing. So I'm gonna put it, you see that where the shovel handle is? I kind of wanted to give you a good pictorial, a good view as to the area I selected. So it's like right in the middle of the two. So all three trees can all grow uninterrupted. So let's get started. Let me show you what I'm putting in there. So in this wheelbarrow, I have a mix of, I always use mushroom compost. I always use earthworm castings. This is Wiggle Worms earthworm castings. This is usually what I use. This is basically a mix of organic garden soil. If you have organic raised bed mix, you can use it. There's actually a place here that I can get the organic garden soil for really cheap, cheaper than the big box stores. So I have organic garden soil. So it's like 1 part organic garden soil, and I mix in maybe a quarter mushroom compost, and then I add in some earthworm castings. That is usually my mix. I don't measure it out to see the exact measurements, but that's basically my mix. If you can afford it, you can put even more earthworm castings or mushroom compost. But I find that this mix of mushroom compost, garden soil, and earthworm castings works very well for all my trees. If you have, I haven't been using fertilizer outside of this too much, apart from my compost teas and chop and drop. However, another thing I always like to add, well, I've been adding it for the past couple of years because I've had the same bag that's lasted me 2 years. I like to add a few handfuls of azomite. I'll put the right number, but I believe it has over 70 different minerals that will help the soil. So I usually just put a few handfuls of azomite as I plant it. Okay, I'm not rushing through this video, guys. There are a lot of new subscribers who have not seen me plant. Those of you who have been with me for many years from the beginning when I first bought this property, thank you so much. I know you've seen this a few times, but this is for all my new subscribers over the past year or two that came on when my garden was already established. And I get questions all the time as to what fertilizer do you use? How do you plant your trees? So this is for you guys. So get rid of the Spanish needle. Chop and drop. All right. So let's start here. Oh, look at that. Woo! Look at that, guys. Look at those earthworms. Look at the earthworms. Oh my gosh. Guys, when I just moved here, I could be planting forever and not find any earthworms. And look at that now. Look at that now. Now I have earthworms. I remember when I just moved here, guys, I planted all my trees. All my trees. I planted probably like 30 trees when I came here, when I just moved. And there wasn't even one earthworm. And now when I dig, I see earthworms because now I have life in these, in the soil. And look at the soil now, guys. The soil is so much better. Before it was all sandy, no life, and now it has life. Anyway, I don't want to digress. Let's dig this hole, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I amend. No rush today. No rush today, guys. No rush today. Usually I have some kind of all-purpose fertilizer. If I have it, I throw it in. If I don't have it, the earthworm castings and all that will do its job. Look at the worms, man. This is awesome. Those roots. That root is from, not sure which one, from one of these trees. So you want to dig your hole. I dig it a little bit wider than the pot. And you know, if you have very compacted soil, you want to loosen up the soil, because remember the roots aren't going to stay in one place. The roots are going to move around. The roots are going to spread out. All right, so let me show you what I've done so far in this hole. Everything is nice and loosened up. And let's look at the root ball. This is a root ball. Oops, I hope I'm not blocking it. Oops. This is the root ball of the plant. So you can see I have gone at least probably 3 or 4 times as wide as a root ball, and definitely way lower than the root ball. At the end, the root ball is going to be on the same level. The top of the root ball will be at the same level as the soil. But the reason I always go way down below is because I like to mix this native soil in with the good soil. So this is native soil at the bottom that is nicely loosened up. Now I'm going to add that mixture in that I just showed you. This is a mixture of the garden soil, mushroom compost, and earthworm castings. So add that in at the bottom. Then I'm gonna mix this in the native soil, mix up everything together, because you don't want it to just have all good soil. You want it to have the native soil so it gets used to the native soil also. You want the roots to be acclimated to the area, so you want to mix in all this native soil with it. Okay, so it's a good mixture of all three. Add a little bit more native soil in, and I mix it in good. Add a little bit. Now I'm going to add just some plain earthworm castings and some azomite. Adding a little bit of earthworm castings in here. I believe there was already some in the mixture, but not much. So I'm adding some earthworm castings in. And I'm going to add a handful of azomite. This is what the azomite bag looks like. And there are some instructions on here. Hold on. My bag is kind of torn up. You can actually add this to the feed, to animal feed. So it's volcanic ash. It's derived from volcanic ash, and I believe it's from Utah. 1 heaping teaspoon per gallon pot. So I'm putting this directly in the ground. I'm going to put like a handful, which is maybe 2 teaspoons, and mix this in. Ooh, those earthworms. Try not to kill them. So here I have my garden soil mixture, my azomite, and I want to make sure that when I plant my fruit tree that it's back up to the soil level. Okay, Mr. Wormy? So, hey, Mr. Earthworm. So I'm going to put this back up to the soil level. At the end, this is going to be at the same level as the soil. This is the soil. I want to make sure the same level that the soil was before. You can see the level here. That's the same level you want it here. Okay? So now when the root spread, it has access to all that goodness on this level, and as it goes down, it has good access. So now you want to position your plant. I see the plant is pulling this way. It's probably because of how, maybe where Johnny had it before. Maybe it was reaching for the sun. So I'm gonna just make sure I make it upright when I'm planting it. All right. So I'm just gonna start backfilling some soil in. I'm gonna backfill the native soil as well as the good soil. So let's put some native in. Native in. I'm just gonna doing this with one hand. Then I'm gonna get some good soil. I'm gonna kind of ease this up so I can see what I'm doing. So I put the good soil with the native soil here on the side, mixing up the good soil and the native soil together, and then you just want to backfill. So this is good and native mixing together. Now we're gonna backfill and straighten this plant up. You want to make sure that line is at the same level. The soil line is at the same level as it was in the pot. So I see where the soil line is. So I'm making sure I don't go below it or above it. All right. Yep, it's at the exact same level as it was in the pot. And then let's just make sure level is all around. And here's what it looks like. Soil is leveled, planted well, halfway in between the two larger trees. So what do we do next? And you can see I already started doing it, started breaking off some pieces of this comfrey plant right beside it and all these dried up comfrey leaves to put along the top. Next, guys, always mulch. If you have some organic mulch, great. I haven't bought any organic mulch in a while, so all I have is this straw that I keep for the chicken coop area. I'm not using the used straw at this time because the plant is still tender. I don't want to use the straw with the chicken manure in it. I'm just using plain clean straw. And then I am gonna water this well, give it a good drink. So we're planting the second sugar apple. You can see this is a mulberry, have my jackfruit there, my Julie mango, coconuts all the way in the back, and my achacha here and that wannabe there. So where you see that stick, it's right in the center, far from everything else. This is where I'm gonna plant it. As mentioned, I'm gonna be removing that mango tree, probably uppotting it. So I'm not worried about that. So just planted, just dug the hole. It's about, I would say, let's see. The roots are very loose, so you can see it's at least 2 or 3 times the size of the root ball, and it is definitely deeper than the root ball. I have this huge oak tree that is towards the side to the front of the house, and there were some very tough oak roots that I had to break. I had to chop them when I was planting, and I broke them so that that won't interrupt my sweet sop. All right, so gonna mix in some of the good soil with the native soil add some earthworm castings in the hole, add some azomite directly in the hole, and backfill. Let's do that. A shovelful of the good soil, mixing it in with the native soil. It's not rocket science, just mixing it in. The key is the soil at the bottom. You want to have enough soil at the bottom so when you plant your tree, it's going to be up to the soil level that it was in the pot. So right here, oops. Oh, when you have it like a dig up the grass like this, guys, you can also put this in, but put it face down. This will all break down and feed the soil. So I'm putting this face down. That's another thing I always do to make up the space. And then we're just gonna backfill this in. Backfill around. Put a little bit in. Then I'm gonna add my azomite and a little bit more earthworm castings. And we've been having a lot of rain. Oh guys, look at this. Seashell. Found a lot of seashells in my garden. We are in Florida and a lot of this area is probably underwater at some point. All right, so let me get another shovel of good soil. Mixing with the native soil. There's a little piece of plastic here. Just mixing it up together. Mixing it up together. Getting my handful of azomite. Getting some earthworm castings. It's a little bit wet. It's been rainy. Getting some earthworm castings in there. And just mixing it all in. Mixing it all together. The key is I'm gonna make sure that I'm up to the same line as the soil. You want to make sure that the top of the plant that was in the pot is at the same level with the soil. So this is where the soil level was in the pot. So I'm gonna make sure backfilling it till I'm at that same level. Backfilling it. And remember, it's gonna settle a little bit. So that's where mulching also comes in. That's gonna help with that too. Helps with keeping it leveled up, keeps the moisture in, keeps the moisture balanced, keeps the soil from eroding, meaning washing away. And that's it. The second one is planted. I'm probably gonna stake it up. You can see it probably was reaching for, it's been underneath my ackee tree for a little bit, so you can see it was probably reaching for the sunlight. I'm just gonna get a stick and just prop it up like this. Planted my 2 sweet stop trees. As I said, guys, these principles can be used just about for most fruit trees. Pick the location based on the size of the tree, determine what's around it. Make sure you're getting adequate sunlight. Make sure you're close to a water source, or the sprinkler system hits it, or you're close to a pipe. However you're gonna water, just make sure you can water it, especially the first maybe a few weeks until the roots get established. And you'll know it's established when the seeds start pushing new leaves, right? You know it's established when you start pushing new leaves. So now this is the same level. The soil is the same level as it was in the pot, and it's the same level as the rest of the ground around it. And here you have it. I went ahead and added some straw as mulch. If you have regular organic mulch, perfect. Any kind of wood chips is perfect. I just stuck this chia stick here to brace it up because it was basically hanging over. You don't want it hanging on the ground. You want to kind of brace it up like this. I probably loosely tie it just so it stays upright, but that's it. The areas watered and mulched, and it's about to rain now, so I'm about to head in. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. God willing, we'll be eating delicious sugar apples before you know it. Till next video guys, bye now.